Hey everyone, Caleb here, and today I wanted to make a video that was a little bit different. I've seen these tier making lists pop up all over YouTube, and I decided I would try my hand at one and see what you guys think of it. Now, you guys have probably heard me speak insufferably about Breaking Benjamin. And yes, I know they aren't technically a heavy metal band, but they are one of my favorite bands of all time. And I've heard all of their albums, and so I thought I would go ahead and rank them and just go ahead and give them their due diligence and rank them. And I promise you they aren't all going to be A's, even though they are all amazing in one way or another. I'm actually going to go in chronological order here. So we're going to start with this one here. This is Saturate. And Saturate, let me pick it up. There we go. Saturate for me is a B. There's a lot of really cool songs on Saturate, but I felt like it didn't work as well as it could have as an album. It introduced the band to the world in a very good way, which is exactly what an intro album is supposed to do, but as with a lot of other intro albums, there were some missteps. A lot of the riffage on here was kind of flat, just a little bit, but it was picked up by 3 fantastic singles and just a really cool atmosphere to the album. The album's got some really neat artwork, and it's a B, not quite an A, but it is still a good album. It's not a terrible album by any stretch of the imagination. Go listen to it. Next, we have We Are Not Alone, and We Are Not Alone is a B as well. The band here, they really started to sort of come into their own and start to develop the trademark sense of balancing melody with more aggressive stuff that they are now known for. And it is it's a neat exposition of what the band can do. It's got one of my favorite Breaking Benjamin songs on it, So Cold. It's got more than a few others. It's got Firefly on it. It's got Follow on it. Just some really, really cool songs on here. But again, as with Saturate, some of the riffage falls a little bit flat. It's a little bit better album than Saturate. The band hadn't quite gotten to the peak of what they could do yet. So it was really neat to hear this album and know that the band's best was still coming. As I was making my way through their discography, that was a really, really neat thought. Next, we have one of the greatest hard rock albums of all time, Breaking Benjamin's Phobia. This is an album that is fantastic in every sense of the word. It is, if I were to review this album for Metalhead Central, I would give it a perfect score. It is that good. It has beautiful melodies on it, balanced with really cool riffage. It has songs on there that just stick with you, and the lyrics just, they move you, and it is a perfect album. It is an album that I own. I listen to it all the time. It is, it's just, there's no other word I can use to describe this album, but absolutely fantastic. It draws you in. It never spits you out, and you are along for the ride. Song after song, you just want to kick back and sing along to it. It is fantastic. Just a wonderful, wonderful album. One of the truly great rock albums. Next, we have Dear Agony, and Dear Agony is also an A. It's not quite as good as Phobia. I do own this album as well. It's not quite as good as Phobia, but it does have a lot going for it. The first 9 tracks of the album are fantastic in nature. Not one thing wrong with them. And then there's a bit of a hiccup with one of the tracks near the end, but then the 2 ending tracks are brilliant. So it's not quite as complete an album as Phobia, and I know I'm really, really splitting hairs here, but that's how good this band is. It's not quite as good as Phobia, but Dear Agony is still a fantastic, fantastic album. Next, we have Dark Before Dawn, one of the greatest albums in the history of rock music, as well as Phobia. This is an album that marked a comeback for the band. After Dear Agony, they had gone on a hiatus, and Benjamin had really worked on stuff. And when they came back, he came back with an all-new lineup. There's been some kind of a falling out with the old members of the band, and the all-new lineup was brilliant, and they still are. Dark Before Dawn is an album that, again, I would give it a perfect score if I were to review it. There is not a bad song on this album. It is fantastic in every way. Some people might think it's Phobia 2.0, but I don't. There are some nuances on there that really make it different from Phobia. There's also nuances in the lyrical content that make it different from Phobia. Phobia is more about things that you would be afraid of, hence the title. Dark Before Dawn has a very positive atmosphere to it. It has a song on there that if it were to be released, honestly, if it were to be released on Christian radio, Ashes of Eden, if it were to be released on there, no one would question it. It is a brilliant, brilliant album, and one of my favorites. I'm proud to own it, and I think you guys would like it if you haven't checked it out. Finally, Ember, another A. This band just gets A after A after A after A from me. Ember is an album that just tugs at your heart. It just explodes with stuff, and there's catchiness all over the place. It's kind of like Phobia and Dark Before Dawn. It's just song after song that you just want to kick back, you want to just sing along to. And as I said in my top 10 albums of last year, when I gave this album a spot there, I had made a mistake when I said this album was not better than Dark Before Dawn. I actually think that it is. It's got a little more of a catchy vibe to it, and it's great the way that they balance everything out. It flows. They got a really nice quieter song on here that works really, really, really well. And I am again a proud owner of it, and I'm thrilled with it every time I pop it into my CD player and every time I listen to it. So there you have it, my opinion on Breaking Benjamin's albums. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys will tune in for Metalhead Central this week. Again, we are reviewing the new Flesh God Apocalypse album, Veleno. And I am working on the next episode of the Metal Artist Review Show. That should be out fairly soon, but it is Devin Townsend Project's Deconstructed, and that's a very long album. It's an hour and 19 minutes long, so bear with me. The video may be out later than I would like to get it out. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video.